You are for you.
What office are you in, Trish?
Hold on, guys.
In the middle office.
It went quick. There was no lag. I just pressed the button. There was no countdown.
Good morning, FinTech. How are you
Good
all?
morning.
Good morning, Corinne. Welcome back from vacation. How was it?
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
So much fun.
Where you went and what the best part of it was.
We went to Myrtle Beach, and the best part about it was we were literally on the ocean. So the kids would walk down, they'd go to the pool, they'd go to the beach. At certain parts, you literally felt like it was an adult vacation because all the kids were old enough, or if not old enough to watch the youngers, and they would be at the pool, and the adults would be at the beach, and
Nice.
yeah, it was easy to get lost in time.
A good time was had by all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now you're
Sweet.
back in New Jersey, which has turned into apparently a rainforest.
And to say the least.
It rains.
It really
every
is.
day. It is as humid as could be.
Yeah.
It's like living in the rainforest of Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful.
Wednesday it's supposed to be better.
It's about really. It's gonna get dry.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I was listening to the forecast. They said that it seems like we're out of that rain cycle for right now. And it's supposed to start getting better today, and then tomorrow, maybe thunderstorms at night, but that's about it. And then Wednesday nights, Thursday, a little bit of thunderstorms, and then the weekend's supposed to finally be a nice weekend.
Okay.
Please, Jesus, please.
Well, here's
Jesus.
what I'll say. Enough talking about the weather. This is what people talk about when they have nothing substantial to talk about. So
I know.
we have substantial things. Let's add Jackie here. Jackie, hello.
Hi.
This is the beach. Jackie's coming to us from the beach. So this is summer, right? This is what people do. Let's get into what we actually want to talk about. Oh, before we do, Trish, do you have any testimonials? We stopped with the testimonials today. We have to remember.
I don't have any on hand right now.
Okay, we have to start that up again.
Okay.
We've got
Next week.
amazing wins lately. Like people are so thrilled with what's going on with them. And you know what we're hearing? It's not only weight loss. It's how they feel. It's how they're showing up to other people. The weight loss is a really beneficial side effect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's get into today's topic, everyone. Jackie, you chose the topic today. What topic did you choose and why?
It's the difference between conventional health and holistic health. There have been a lot of questions circulating lately on whether or not surgery is the best option, the quick fixes, injections. A lot of people are very intimidated, believe it or not, by holistic and healthy weight loss. They don't believe it. They're not believers. And the truth is they just assume it doesn't work because it's natural. And they opt for a scarier alternative with long-term effects.
Got it. So this is a really meaty topic. There's a lot to talk about here. I want to get an understanding, though. Trish, what's your understanding about the differences between conventional medicine or weight loss and holistic medicine or weight loss?
I guess conventional would be more prescribing different medications and opting for surgeries and or the popular injections or any of that kind of stuff would be more the conventional. And holistic is more treating the body from the inside out, taking proper supplements to help you support, natural, healthy weight loss.
Pretty much, yeah. There's a famous story about this, and it's one of these stories. I don't know if it's exactly true, but it might just be to make a point. Has everyone heard of Louis Pasteur?
No.
Okay. Has everyone heard of pasteurization? When you get milk, it's pasteurized, right?
Sure.
Okay. So that was created by a scientist named Louis Pasteur. He was a French dude, I want to say in the 1800s. And he was the guy who came up with this. He was the guy, I think he discovered bacteria. So that's pretty cool. Imagine being the guy who discovered bacteria. So here's the story. Pasteur had this friend named Beauchamp, and they used to argue all the time. And the basis of their argument was this. Pasteur was saying that ill health comes from these bacteria, from these things that attack us from the outside. Beauchamp's argument was it's not the bacteria, it's actually the soil. Right? So what does he mean by the soil? Or he would say the milieu, which is a fancy French word. We're not going to get into that. But if you ever look at garbage, that garbage has been sitting there, it attracts what?
Flies.
Bugs.
It attracts flies. It attracts bugs because it's an unhealthy, unhygienic situation. And this is what Beauchamp's argument was, that the bugs come in as a result of the area being unhealthy, being dirty, being toxic, and all of that. And so they would go back and forth in this argument for years. And apparently, and again, I don't think it ever happened, but it's a great story. On his deathbed, Pasteur looked at his friend and he said, "You are my friend. It is the soil." So this is the difference between conventional, or one of the big differences between conventional and holistic health. It's that conventional tends to attack the bugs. The assumptions are that we get sick because of outside vectors, right? Things that come in. And the holistic understanding, and holistic means whole, is that those things happen when we're vulnerable. So our job as holistic practitioners are to make the person less vulnerable, to make the soil cleaner, so there's less of a chance of those things coming in and attacking.
That makes sense.
All right, doesn't that make sense? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool? Now, Corinne, though, when you hear about holistic health or holistic weight loss, what comes to mind? Do you have a positive association or a negative association with that? And what do you hear from others?
So, in my opinion, I have a positive association to that, because the truth of the matter is when you do something holistically, you're treating your body, like we've said, from the inside out. And also, when you do holistic health, you're forced to eat right, and you're forced to kind of change your habits in your day-to-day life. And in my opinion, it's something that will create and foster habits long term and allow for weight loss to stay off, for example. However, when you do something like, conventionally, it's a quick hit, shall you say? So when you're taking the new fad of the shots, for example, you lose weight fast, but did you really change anything? Did you really do anything to make things better for yourself inside? And to me, the answer to that is no. So,
Right.
you
Well,
know,
what you're saying is very rational. Is that what you hear from other people, or does there tend to be a negative association when you think about holism? I mean, my background is I'm a chiropractor. I have heard people call me a quack. Sometimes people think that there's real doctors and then there's everyone else, and that
absolutely.
what conventional is best. So, what have you heard from other people out there?
Well, I think you hear a lot of people that are interested in the quick hit because it's the easier route, you
Right.
know. And you hear a lot of fear from people because you say, how many people have we heard say, "Oh, I've done everything to get this weight off and nothing works."
Hmm.
And then they do our program and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it worked. It worked because you did it right." It worked. That's my opinion behind it. Like, we're supplying you with the appropriate nutrients that you need to make the engines start working again and getting rid of all of the grease or the fat that's inside of them. And that's what a holistic weight loss process is.
Back there? What am I hearing?
I think Marissa went in the back she has markers out.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Eating Cheetos?
That's what it sounded like. It sounded like a bag of something. Okay. Trisha and Jackie, why don't you take over from where Corinne was? What is it that you hear out in the ether, or have you heard? Because things may or may not be changing.
Well,
Yep. Oh, so I mean, as far as what Ms. Corinne was saying, I agree. I feel like more people are looking at the quick and not wanting to change what they want to eat. So, you may, lose, X amount of weight, but they're still, munching on sandwiches and bagels and, and all the things that really, don't promote healthy weight loss. So I do notice that a lot of people are, especially now, especially with all these fad diets, extreme weight loss right now, it's more or less like, well, I can still continue to eat what I want. I'll lose the weight fast. So nobody's looking to change anything. They're just looking for a quick fix, get it off now and I'll worry about it later.
Is this the problem, Jackie, with, I address her and suddenly she's gone. Okay.
Well, she got insulted and she left.
Trish and Corinne, though, is this the problem with the holistic approach in that, because from what you're saying, A, it relies on doing the right thing. It relies on taking responsibility for your health. And in general, and remember, we're talking about both health and weight loss. They're not the same things, but there's obviously overlap. In general, it can take longer. Obviously, if you have a headache, if you take an aspirin, that's one thing, which is very different than, doing the right things to make sure that you're less likely to get a headache in the first place, right?
Right.
So is this a problem with the quote-unquote holistic approach?
I mean, as far as maybe in certain circumstances, I feel like our program is a pretty, rapid weight loss, get yourself healthy, and lose the weight and change your life kind of situation. So that situation, but normally people don't want the slow route and they don't want to change anything. So, I feel like
I wouldn't say old people. I mean, and like you said, our route isn't the slow route, right?
Right. But our route is not the slow route of holistic.
Right. But it does take personal responsibility.
It does. And I feel right. And ours, we do. The scale is not forgiving if you are not doing the right thing. Yeah. So for that, yes, but I feel like people don't want that. They don't want a responsibility. They just want somebody to fix it for them.
Yeah, so listen, in an ideal world, we could do whatever we want and never pay a consequence. I mean,
right.
We do make some concessions to the fact that we know that if you eat things that are not food, you're going to get less healthier, you're going to get inflamed, you're going to get fatter. There is that understanding, but let's face it, Corinne, like, don't you want to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do and still have the right results?
Well, 1,000% actually, so for me, I decided like today, that's it. I'm going back on our diet because I was on the beach, like I said, on vacation, and I'm walking and I'm going, oh, I'm tired. And I'm going, what am I doing? Like, no. So like you said, I want the right results because I want to feel better about myself.
Right. But ideally, you would want to be able to eat all the, what is it that you eat again? I know you have some, what gets you?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Okay. So ideally, though, you would want to be able to have ice cream 3 meals a day and still lose the weight. And isn't that what they're selling in some of these quote unquote conventional ways of losing weight and of becoming healthy? You get to do whatever it is you want, but we give you a magic pill or a magic surgery.
100%. And it's not good because if you don't change, you're just going to go back to what you were. You're just going to be unhealthy. And we can't. Like, we have to stop. The world itself has to stop thinking that everything needs to be a quick fix. And we need to go back to learning how to work for something.
Well, good luck with that in the age of the internet, right? I mean, attention spans are getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world is very different, right? Obviously, there's a reason why obesity is at an all-time high now, and it wasn't in the 1700s.
Right.
I don't know that we're ever going back to that time. There's less we have to do. We're this close to wars being done by kids playing video games. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Literally.
the
That's true.
idea of working in the fields, I mean, may happen by some kind of underclass, but for most people who are fortunate enough, that's not going to be happening. That's not the
No.
lifestyle. Jackie, you have some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like overall, holistic doesn't scare me at all. It makes me wonder because it always worked. And if you look back, there's always a natural resource, but yet the current fad is to do things naturally because it looks great. So I don't understand why people are so intimidated by doing things naturally. I don't think I
Are
really
they
don't,
intimidated, or did they just think of it as a slog? Did they just think of it as a lot of effort,
well, that's definitely one point.
deprivation?
Everyone's initially, every time someone hears the amount of supplements that I take or how many times a day I take them, they're like, oh, I can never
Mhm.
do that. Oh, all day.
Right.
Me too.
It's like 3 times a day to do that. I just want to take one. It's almost like it's just too much work to invest in themselves. And it's very strange because they still want what their so-called picture of perfect is, right?
Mhm.
Whether it be healthy inside, healthy outside, however it is that you get there, they still want that, but nobody wants to work for it anymore. Nobody wants to put the effort or invest in themselves. And I think they're honestly intimidated. I think they're afraid of the commitment because it is a commitment. You have to commit to yourself. You have to be honest about it. And I
Mhm.
think they're intimidated. I really do.
I think it's seen as a sure thing. If you
Oh,
go in for weight loss surgery or some kind of surgery that
guaranteed.
cuts out the fat,
I'm coming out of there with something
that's
less.
right. Yeah, it's done. It's a sure thing in that sense, right?
Hmm.
Uh, if you take Ozempic, it's seen as a sure thing.
Right.
And as far as the potential long-term consequences, and let's face it, all of these interventions have
Absolutely.
potential long-term consequences. Like, I love doing something where the long-term consequence is getting healthier.
That's it.
Like, you don't have to make that deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's something that's theoretical and it's down the road. It's not necessarily
Right.
going to happen, and it's not now. And I have to do something, and I know I
Hmm.
can't do it alone, and I know I can't put forth that effort to do it. I get that. That's a very reasonable kind of a thought process. Um, but there are all those buts, aren't there?
There's a lot of buts. I mean, I think
Mhm.
even when we discuss being holistic, and Trish was touching on the difference between the two. Holistic in general, everyone immediately it's your whole body. So right, it's your mind connection to your soul, spirit. It's what your overall vision for yourself is. And a lot of people cannot face those demons. Essentially, right? They can't face all of the
Mhm.
things that they don't want to fix or get wrapped up in. So they think that it's almost near impossible. So they're it's easier for them to say, oh, it's not going to work. It's natural. No, I need something quicker. Oh, I've tried everything.
Yeah, let me point out another difference, and this is my personal opinion, and I want everyone's feedback from it. One of the distinctions between, let's call it conventional and holistic, obviously we know the approaches are different. We know the assumptions are different, right? Conventional tends
Mhm.
to go after the thing,
Mhm.
which is usually a
Right.
manifestation of something else,
Right.
right? So you cut out the fat, you're not going after the causes of the fat.
Correct.
Whereas if you're doing something alternative or holistic, then you're addressing what causes you to become fat, the
Right.
calories, the nutrients, etc. Um, but here's another difference, and this is my opinion. Conventional Resorting to a conventional way to lose weight is kind of wrapped up with apathy. It's kind of wrapped up with an understanding that there's nothing I can do about it, and I'm destined to fail, and I have to give myself over to somebody else, to some kind of a drastic intervention.
It's a good point.
Holistic has to do with being hopeful. We talk
Hmm.
about happy, healthy, and hopeful.
Yeah.
With an understanding of, if I do the right thing, if I treat myself the right way, If I aim towards a greater way of living, and that's with nutrition, with my mind and spirit and everything combined, right? Then I will have a better outcome. I will live a better life. What are your thoughts on this subject of apathy versus hopefulness?
I mean, it's definitely relatable because I feel like we've all come to that point before we've made a change or a difference in something. You almost have to hit rock bottom, right? Where it's like, I cannot take the way I look anymore. I cannot stand the way I feel. I cannot handle any more aches and pains or discomfort, or that I have to adjust myself every time I get up or move or dance, or you see a picture of yourself with your children and you're like, oh God, I look terrible. And I think that it's that moment where you divide and you decide, okay, I have to do something immediately because there's nothing else that I can do naturally, or you take that time to regroup yourself and say, I can do this for myself, for my family, for all good reasons, and I'm going to do this the right way permanently. I think that when a lot of times people jump on the road of, I hate to say quick fix because there are people that have success with their surgeries. I can't say 15 years down the line, whatever the outcomes are, or injections. I don't know. They're still too new. But taking fat burners and over the counter that seems safe, but it's quick and guarantees to speed up your metabolism and things of that nature, doing it that way, they're not thinking long term. I think it's more of like, I just need to get out of this hole right now. This and now this is me committed. I'm doing something about it. But they're not thinking your commitment, your health journey just doesn't stop. You're going to hit those bumps. You're going to go up and down, and that's okay. This is all normal. So you're going to go up, you're going to go down. You have good days, you have bad days. You're going to indulge and have that ice cream. You're going to have that bagel. And then you're going to say, okay, get back on track immediately after. It doesn't become a downward spiral. So it's a matter of that fight or flight. What are you going to do long term when you get to that point?
Well, people can't really commit to long-term things, and that's the problem. Everyone is pretty sure there's a lot of certainty that if you needed to, you could, eat perfectly for one day. But the idea in this world of eating perfectly all the time, that's what's intimidating to people. Right? The idea of going to friends' houses and not having the cookies and the cakes, and we've all done it. And I think that's part of what we get into and part of why people become apathetic. How can I, in this world as it exists, with all the pressures upon me right now, how can I find a way to maintain my health and my weight? And it does take a lot of effort.
It takes a lot of effort.
That's and it could take willpower, and it could take fighting against people's attitudes about you that you might hear, comments, things like that. It just takes so much more.
Yeah.
Why do you think that people come to us?
Initially?
Yeah. Who am I hearing in the background?
There's somebody cutting down trees in my background.
No, I don't
It's
hear
super, super loud.
voices.
That's what you hear. It's like banging. It's super, super loud.
I'm hearing voices.
Yeah, I think somebody's in the waiting room.
It's my head. Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was going to say voices.
Forget about that.
I'm like, I hear no voices.
No. That's my own thing. Like it's like something's buzzing.
Yeah.
You gotta answer it.
Right.
I think that people, there's a couple of things. You always have like the A client, the B client. We have multiple scenarios, right? We have and I have to say it's an even split. We have clients that come in by referral, that have seen it, that have heard it, and they're like, this is exactly what I need. Then we have the B client where they come in and they see our guarantee and they're still in the mindset of, I just need to lose 20 pounds. I'm going on vacation. I'm getting married. I have this, I have that. I have a reunion. Whatever it is. I just need to lose the 20 pounds. Okay. Yeah. And they hear us, but they don't listen to us. So they'll come in, they'll do the program, they're successful, and then they get hooked. And they're like, oh my, wait, this is so much more. So we have all those different clients that come in, but they come in from different sources. Those sources, I mean, I same, starting here and then seeing the results, I was shocked because it was every single day and it was every single person that walked through the door. And I was like, oh my God, like this is totally attainable. Like this is not hard because you have the support.
This is why we really need to read the testimonial. Like it is unbelievable what happens and what we see. Trish, you're on the front lines. When someone first comes in here, why do they tell you that they came?
I feel like most of the time it's I've tried everything and nothing works.
Yeah.
I'm looking for something different. I have, a lot of people do come in with other ailments besides, weight loss situations. I have, aches and pains and, and that kind of stuff. And they do hear from friends. A lot of the time we do get a lot of referrals. So, they see the results of their friends or family members. But I feel like most of the time it's always, I've tried everything and nothing worked.
But that's the crazy thing to me sometimes, right? When we're talking about conventional versus holistic, is that a person has to fail or have some kind of a bad side effect of something conventional before they'll try the crazy holistic thing.
Yeah.
The crazy holistic thing is getting healthier overall, so your body's stronger and it can deal with things better. That's the crazy holistic thing.
Right. Yeah, but that's that's hard too, because nobody really ever even understands holistic part. Like you don't see that anywhere. It's not like it's promoted on TV and commercials, holistic health. So when you don't really know something, it's a little hard to even be a hopeful situation. They're looking at the conventional stuff as a hopeful situation, and when they get their quick fix.
It's harder to market.
Yeah, it really is.
Holism. The reason is, and it's happening, and there are plenty of holistic practitioners out there, right?
Yes.
But when you think about it, there are hospitals. There is pharma. They are the largest business, the largest industry in the greatest economy ever, right? The U.S. economy is the largest economy in the history of the world. And pharma is like almost 20% of that economy. It's over $2 trillion a year, right?
Wow.
So this is why it's much easier to market on a mass level. It's not so skill dependent as far as like taking stuff, and you don't have to be responsible for it. It's ultimately what people want. People don't want effort. People want ease of use. People want something that, where they don't have to be responsible for. And this is not everyone, obviously.
No.
We have a lot of clients, but we do see this a lot. Corinne, when you've been in the office, when you've spoken to people, why do they tell you that they come to us? Is it because they failed doing everything else? Is it because of our message? What have you heard?
I think it's a combination of both. I think that when it's a referral that comes in, it's more because people are, their friends are saying or their family saying like, we believe in this, like you need to do it. And then I also think that like when it's a consultation that comes in from like the internet, for example, it's because it's a state of desperation where they're like, okay, I've had enough. Like I really just need to get this weight off. Like I've tried everything. And then, like we've always said, like, it's nice to see people when they come in for a consultation and you have the harmonization with other people in the office and talking and telling them about why our program works. Like it's always such a nice thing to hear.
Well, to cut to the chase regarding that, the program works because we help to create a healthier machine. Like that's our goal. We're looking at the body, we're looking at the cells and what they need in order to be healthier, in order to work more efficiently. And that's what we shoot for. Now, there are various ways we do it. Obviously, food, which is the best medicine there is, supplementation, which is really food in capsule or liquid form. Obviously, we try to, support the heck out of people, but that's what we're aiming for. And it's a funny thing, and it's a crazy thing to me that people see the results that we get. All of our clients are walking billboards, and yet we don't get more referrals. And I think that goes back to what we were saying before, the having to be responsible.
Committed.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I have to do this thing. It's a process. People, they don't want to necessarily all the time buy a process. They want to buy a result.
Right.
And that's not always realistic. Now, one of the ways that we're addressing this is that we have a 10-day version of our program, a simplified 10-day version of our program. So it's not much of a process. It's not much. We talked about hope before. Hope is a bigger investment than money. Hope is a scarcer resource than money. When people have hope and then those hopes are dashed, it's hard to come back from that. And that's why you'll see a lot of times people are afraid to jump in. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail yet again? What if I can't do it? These are the things that torment people and why we're necessary as opposed to just a program.
Right.
Mhm.
We're the ones that make it work. Like I said, you're the angels.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting thing, and that's why we have this 10-day version called the 10-day launch. I would encourage everyone. We do that for at a discounted price. It's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of time. It's a great thing to do for those people who have to test things out.
Yeah.
Right, Jack? You had a comment?
No, it's just 10 days. It's just 10 days. It's 1 week. The longer you sit on it, that week is already over.
Yeah, like you could think about it for years, or you could jump in and do it for 10 days, and then if
10
it
days.
works, you can go on.
And
And
do
that's
from
one of the
there.
reasons why we created it, right? I mean, it's giving people a taste. It's actually, and I hate to use this example, but it's the methodology, it's the operating basis of a pusher. We're giving people a taste.
Yes. Yeah.
The idea is to get them hooked, but
Yes.
then
Mhm.
you need to prove to yourself. You need to prove that it works. You need to see some results. So that's why we do this. If anyone's listening to us, and you have a friend who is constantly complaining about the size of their ass, or something like this, they're not sure they could do it, they fail. Tell them about this 10-day program we have. It's a couple of programs in one. It's a detox. It's a health restoration program. Oh, and as a lovely side effect, you can lose a bunch of weight.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
the idea, right? And meet some nice people.
Mhm.
What other points did you want to make about this whole? I mean, I could talk about this for a long time.
Yeah, this is
I've been on the front lines of this battle, and it is a battle, right? It is a philosophical difference generally between the conventional approach and the holistic approach. What other points did you think were important to bring out? And again, we're talking about health and/or weight loss.
So I'm going to say one because it's actually something that Jackie's actually taught me too.
Go ahead.
But when you're going on a diet and you're making yourself healthier, you're actually fixing your microbiome also inside your gut, and you're healing yourself. So you end up with such positive reactions that you've never expected in your life by just cleaning out your gut and detoxing your body as a whole. So my biggest thing is don't be afraid to take care of yourself. Start today with saying today's my day.
Okay, well, today should be the day. Now, just to be clear on that, you mentioned this term called the microbiome, and this is one
Mhm.
of the words that you hear a lot about. It's also a fascinating story about this,
Mhm.
right? Years ago, a bunch of scientists mapped out what they call the human genome. They did the Human Genome Project, right? They wanted to see
Mhm.
what was going on with our genes. Well, shortly after that, and it got much less attention, they did, different scientists, they also mapped out what they call the microbiome. Now, what does that mean? Micro is small, biome has to do with light. They were looking at all the bugs in our body.
Mhm.
Most of the bugs are concentrated in our digestive tract. But just so you
Mhm.
know, what they discovered is that the bugs outnumber human cells 100 to 1.
Mhm.
Wow.
There are more bugs in our body. So for all people who are what do they call it, germaphobes?
Yeah.
Living them.
If you really understood, you wouldn't be a germaphobe,
Exactly.
right? Because you are so full of these bugs, it's unbelievable. And we're not talking about bugs, viruses, bacteria, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And one of the things that's realized, and this is a relatively new area of study, is that our microbiome dictates a lot in our body. There are better bugs to have. There are worse bugs to have.
Absolutely.
Because of today's lifestyle, we've killed off a lot of the good ones, and a lot of the bad ones are able to proliferate. And this is what creates the soil. That, in addition to our nutrition, is the soil in our body that's not working correctly. Hey, Vicki Britton, she always feels better when she's eating non-processed food. Yes,
Always.
absolutely. So that's the deal with the microbiome in like 30 seconds.
It's the best version I've heard.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'll do what I can. Okay, I think this is a good time to end off. Of course, we want to wish everyone a great week. If there's something
Yes.
we need, we are in the middle of this summer. Summer is one of those times, right? Summer, and then of course in like December, it's one of those times where we know we're supposed to go crazy. It can be relatively treacherous. So if you need us, don't be afraid to reach out to us and tell
Absolutely.
people about the 10-day launch. Vicky, by the way, is one of these people who lost a bunch of weight. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
She feels amazing when she does the right thing. And of course, you know, we're all subject to the pressures of summer,
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Let's end off. Everyone, let's say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Have a great week.
Week.
See you next week.
Bye.